Good evening. Good to have you with us in this edition of the Urban Debate. Viewers, here tonight, over the next 120 minutes, we've got 3 big stories lined up for you and several reports on the migrant crisis as well. But let me tell you about these big stories. In just 30 seconds from now, we will bring to you a Mirror Now investigation that shows the true state of affairs here in the city of Mumbai and the shortage of healthcare infrastructure that we are looking at. Then we will move on to the big locust threat. It's not just about a bunch of locusts attacking one farm or two in one state or 2 states, viewers. It's a massive national threat. It could be a threat to our food security, and we will explain to you why. And of course, we will also put the spotlight on India-China relations and what's happening in Ladakh right now, the face-off that's continued pretty much through this month. We will get you the latest and we will tell you 5 big things you need to know about that standoff. But first up, let's go on to our main story, and this is an exclusive. It's a Mirror Now investigation. Viewers, as we heard from the government and the civic body yesterday, that additional beds are being prepared, that we have 8,000 beds and 3,000 ventilators to give us a sense that there wasn't anything to worry, that there was no shortage and the government had done a good job. We decided to check the ground reality. Santya Gora, our reporter here in Mumbai, made calls to 10 different hospitals. These are the biggest of the hospitals. These are the hospitals which have been at the center of the entire COVID battle. Some of them are private, some of them are civic body or government-owned hospitals. We tried all options, and she got the same answer at every single hospital. She called asking for an urgent bed. She was told there were none available. She asked them when will she get a bed. She was told they couldn't tell her because they don't know. Perhaps she could be put on a waiting list. But as far as that specific day is concerned, none of the hospitals had any idea when they would be able to give a bed to Santya. This is not a story just what we found out today. This is the story that hundreds of people in our city are facing on a regular basis. This is a story of people who've gone from one hospital to the other, struggling to get an ambulance, struggling and waiting for days together for a bed. And this is a story we will reveal to you one more time with audio clips, with actual proof, evidence that cannot be denied. Take a look. Let's begin with the Breach Candy Hospital. This is what happened when she dialed in.
Good afternoon, booking.
मैम, मुझे एक कोरोना वायरस पेशेंट के लिए आईसीयू बेड चाहिए था. ब्रीच कैंडी में अवेलेबल होगा क्या?
मैम, आईसीयू बेड तो सारे फुल है.
कितना वेटिंग है मैम? कब तक समझ में आएगा कि क्लियर हो जाएगा?
अभी डिपेंड्स ऑन द डिस्चार्जेस मैम. वी कांट टेल द स्टेटस नाउ ओनली. आज के लिए तो फिलहाल कोई डिस्चार्जेस नहीं है.
ओके, मतलब आज चांस नहीं है?
नहीं.
ओके मैम, थैंक यू.
That was the Breach Candy Hospital. Absolutely no idea when they will be able to admit Santya. Here is another case. This is from Jaslok Hospital, another of the biggest hospitals here in Mumbai, in South Mumbai. Take a look.
हेलो, डॉक्टर विधि बोल रहे हैं जसलोक हॉस्पिटल से.
यस, बोलिए
मैम, आपके हॉस्पिटल से आपका नंबर मिला था एडमिशन प्रोसेस के लिए. आईसीयू में जगह चाहिए थी मैम एक कोरोना पेशेंट के लिए.
पॉजिटिव पेशेंट है आपका कोविड का?
हाँ जी मैम.
तो अभी पेशेंट आपके कहाँ पे है?
मैम, अभी 2 पेशेंट, क्योंकि हम लोग बेड ढूंढ रहे हैं, हमको मिल नहीं रहा है, तो किसी ने बोला कि जसलोक में पूछ लीजिए, अगर मिल रहा है तो हम फिर वहाँ ले आएंगे.
अभी आपका पेशेंट घर पे है?
जी मैम.
फिलहाल यहाँ पे मैम बेड तो अवेलेबल है नहीं, आईसीयू में भी नहीं है, वार्ड में भी नहीं है. वेटिंग लिस्ट है यहाँ पे. वेटिंग लिस्ट में आपका नाम मैं ऐड कर देती हूँ पेशेंट का, बट आई कैन नॉट प्रॉमिस अ बेड राइट नाउ.
हम कितने दिन में मिल जाएगा? आजकल में
कितना दिन लगेगा ये भी मुझे नहीं पता मैम. आज होगा, कल होगा, 2 दिन. आई एम सॉरी टू से दिस, बट आई रियली डोंट नो. मैं आपका ऐड करके रखती हूँ विश लिस्ट में या वॉट एवर दैट, वेटिंग लिस्ट में नाम. आप फिलहाल दूसरे जगह पे भी ट्राई करते रहिए.
Well, that's not it, viewers. We've been telling you and bringing you stories from KEM Hospital as well. we got a similar response. Not just that, they actually gave us more insights onto state of affairs, the infrastructure available for their ICU. This is what we told you yesterday. This is also what we told you last week and several weeks before that. Nothing seems to be changing here. Take a look.
हेलो कैजुअलिटी
मैम, एक कोरोना वायरस पेशेंट के लिए ना आईसीयू बेड चाहिए था, मिलेगा क्या?
आईसीयू बेड्स अभी तो फुल है
मैम कितने दिन के लिए, आजकल में खाली होगा क्या?
उसका कैसा है कि जैसे बेड फ्री हो रहे हैं वैसे वैसे हम एडमिटेड पेशेंट्स को उधर शिफ्ट कर रहे हैं, तो अभी मतलब ऑक्सीजन पोर्ट्स वगैरह भी कम है, वेंटिलेटर्स ऑक्सीजन पोर्ट्स भी कम है इधर। आप कहाँ से बात कर रहे हैं?
मैम मैं तो कांदिवली से बात कर रही थी। मैम वेटिंग कितनी लंबी है मैम?
आपल्या इथे वेटिंग किती आहे आयसीयू बेडसाठी? EMS का नंबर आहे? नंबर काय है? वेटिंग लिस्ट तो मुझे नहीं पता एक्चुअली, वो EMS वाले लोग ही बता पाएंगे आपको।
तो अभी
आप KEM के ऑपरेटर को कॉल कर सकते हैं क्या? KEM के ऑपरेटर को कॉल कीजिए, मुझे उनका नंबर नहीं पता
है मैम, लेकिन अभी आपके यहाँ पे जगह नहीं है क्या?
नहीं है, मोस्टली तो नहीं है जगह।
This is KEM hospital. They don't even know if there is a waiting list system. They have no idea, but they have no place. They don't even have enough ventilators. That was audio clip number 3. Imagine the plight of a person who calls hospital after hospital after hospital and gets the same answer. Here is audio clip number 4.
हम लोग हॉस्पिटल से बात कर रहे हैं।
हाँ
मैम, एक कोरोना वायरस पेशेंट के लिए आईसीयू का बेड चाहिए था।
नहीं, हाँ 2 बेड खाली है। हाँ
कितने?
लेकिन वार्ड नंबर 9 में पूछिए आने का, डायरेक्ट नहीं आने का। वार्ड नंबर 9 में एडमिशन है ना, एडमिशन का वो रजिस्ट्रेशन ऑपरेटर से बोलने का, वार्ड नंबर 9 में एडमिशन के लिए वो उधर रजिस्ट्रेशन करवा के फिर इधर वो लोग फोन करते। 2 बेड वैकेंट है। हाँ
ठीक है मैम।
हाँ।
Sandhya Gora is joining me right now. Sandhya, you know, for you, it was also a job to find out the reality. It was a task to find out what the true picture on ground is. But I shudder to think if there was a real emergency and somebody needed a bed, and it happened to so many people in the city. Imagine what they would have gone through where hospital after hospital, they were turned away.
Actually, Tanvi, before making these calls to these hospitals, the capacity of a reporter, since last 2 days, we are also struggling to get admission for one of our fellow journalists. And that's exactly how we came to know about the problem, that how people are struggling to get placed in the hospitals. Considering the fact that that person was a journalist and there were much support there for that person still managed to get some relief. That person managed to get a bed. But it was a Herculean task for people who are educated, who are aware, who actually know the system. But today, when in the capacity of a reporter we called, I was actually expecting same answer. But to this extent, this was actually shocking to some extent. And imagine the situation of a person who is not even educated, who is not well aware with the system, who doesn't have the means to make such calls, the availability of information, how to call these hospitals. Imagine what will happen to that person. And we were making inquiries about ICU beds, which means the person for whom the inquiries were made or the person who needs intensive care. That's the kind of situation we were talking about. And these hospitals, unfortunately, did not even have an idea that how long will it take for them to clear the waiting, because this is how it's actually working at these hospitals, that there are patients which are already there in these ICU wards, and until or unless there is a discharge which takes place, hospital cannot occupy or give any other bed to any of the new patients. So they have to maintain a waiting list. The moment somebody gets discharged from these ICU wards, then the other people in the waiting get a space. Now, unfortunately, Tanvi, it was not just about ICU beds. In fact, many of the hospitals went ahead and said that it's not just ICU beds. They don't even have space in general wards as well. Such is the condition, such is the situation, that these frontliners didn't even have an answer to give, unfortunately, that for how many hours or how many days for that matter, one patient will have to wait to get a bed in ICU in these hospitals. Tanvi.
All right, Santhya, thanks so much for bringing us these reports. And even as we were playing out these audio tapes that Santhya recorded, we were actually getting case studies of people, real stories and examples of people who went through a similar experience, who had their relatives, their loved ones in a bad state, needed to be admitted but couldn't find a bed, couldn't find a hospital where a bed was available. And we'll bring you all of those reports. I will also play out more clips. Let the true story emerge, and viewers, you need to watch this. And I don't mean to create some kind of fear in your minds, but we do need to show this so that the government knows and the civic body knows that we are not going to buy any more false assurances. Now, here are the things that we found out basis our investigation. Let me just quickly summarize for you, for viewers who are just tuning in. 5 things that Santhya's investigation has showed us. Point number 1 is that we made calls to 10 hospitals and we got the same reply. It has exposed the shortage of beds in our hospitals 2 months after the lockdown began. 2 months. For all those who keep telling us we will add additional beds, what has happened in the last 2 months? Point number 2, all 10 hospitals said no ICU beds are available. Point number 3, some hospitals, when asked further, even went on to say even in the general ward, there were no beds available. That's the status. Point number 4, one of the biggest hospital, and I just played out that clip, actually said they didn't have enough ventilators. What are the people supposed to do? And point number 5, this is the big one. It raises question marks on the state and the civic body's claims so far of how they have been doing good work in building the health infrastructure. Let's say good evening to our panelists who are joining us right now. R.T. Sathe, spokesperson for the BJP. Dr. Gautam Bhansali, consultant physician, Bombay Hospital and member of the Maharashtra Task Force for Covid-19. Dr. Lakshman Jasani, consultant for infectious diseases at Apollo Hospital, joins us this evening. And I've got Sanjay Tatkare, spokesperson for the NCB. Mr. Tatkare, this is not a very, very calming picture at all. 10 calls to the biggest of the hospital, government and private. It makes me ask you the question, what have we done in the last 2 months?
Tanvi, first of all, let me clarify. Any patient who is showing symptoms, he is not supposed to call the hospital directly. Yesterday, the Municipal Commissioner, Mr. Chahar, has made it very clear. He has evolved a system of a dashboard. The numbers are given to the patient, so whoever wants to get admitted or tested, and then the BMC will allot a bed in respective hospitals. Now, if you want to go on a fishing spree and call up the hospital directly and ask for beds, which hospital is going to allot? Because all the beds are being given to the BMC. So unless you follow a protocol which is in place, and that is the reason why we have this protocol in place, because there was a crazy scramble for beds. So the Mr. Chahal was there on the media yesterday. He made it clear, and we are very open what kind of number of beds we have now acquired from the
Mr. Tatkare, how many more misleading comments and answers will you all give us? I am shocked. How many more misleading comments and answers will you give us? Are you seriously sitting here tonight, Mr. Tatkare, and telling me that there are beds available in KEM? Are you seriously telling me, sitting here tonight, that there are beds available in Kasturba or in any of these hospitals? Don't know if that's the protocol. None of the hospitals gave us that protocol. None of the hospitals said, no, this is not how that happens. So please, before you turn around and dismiss our investigation, at least be honest enough to admit what the truth is.
The Commissioner of Mumbai Commissioner has said this. Now, if you think that he is lying or we are, as government, we are misleading, then there is nothing I can say. Nothing more I can add to this.
The commissioner can say that there is a dashboard which is functional. If the people are not getting the help, it doesn't matter, Mr. Tatkare. If you refuse to admit the reality, if you want to close your eyes and ears to what is happening on ground, it doesn't matter, Mr. Tatkare. If you're going to sit here and challenge me and give me the excuse that this is not the protocol, I will play out cases for you. Mr. Tatkare, if you think we are fools, if we will only do this half-baked and not go through all the way, then you are highly mistaken. Have you seen the visuals that have repeatedly come? No. Now listen to me, Mr. Tatkare.
Let me answer your queries.
I have not asked a question. Let me ask a question. I have not asked a question.
What are you giving me a commentary?
Okay,
you don't
go
want
ahead,
a commentary in these times.
You're not listening to me.
I am saying
10 phone calls is not commentary.
10 phone calls at the wrong places. You call up the commissioner, you call up the nodal officer, you go to the website which is given, you call up the concerned officer.
Call up the commissioner?
You call up the call center, you call up the
Is that what a patient is supposed to do?
I am saying call up the nodal officer.
Is that what a patient is supposed to do?
He has to call up the call center, the nodal officer.
Mr. Tatkare, you are telling me that the people... You are telling me that the people who are sitting in these hospitals are lying. All right, I will take it. You are saying they are lying, there are beds available, but they will not give it to us because we've made a phone call. Is that what you are saying?
I am saying there is a nodal
Do you know,
officer
Mr. Tatkare,
appointed.
we brought voices of 3 different patients.
I am telling
the dashboard is fine, sir.
position.
Online, everything looks very pretty. Please get out on the ground and see what the reality is. That's what the commissioner, what the government officials and ministers and spokespersons need to do.
You are sitting in your cozy studios. We are the ones who are working on the ground. And I'm talking about all political parties. I'm not just saying that our party is working. All political parties, all their workers are working. People like you sitting in cozy studios and pass judgments. Stop doing this.
I will not even entertain that kind of a comment or give it the dignity with a response. Look at this, Mr. Tatkare. I have enough evidence. You want to talk about evidence? Let's get into evidence. Here is an example. A Mumbai resident, Nikhil Katara, called 10 hospitals in search for a bed for his mother who had tested positive. Not only that, he struggled to get an ambulance. He ended up paying 24,000 rupees to get an ambulance. You tell Nikhil Katara that. You tell Nikhil Katara that. Listen to him. Viewers, you need to listen to what people are saying right now. Policies online, on paper don't help citizens who are dying out there. Listen to Nikhil, what he had to say.
My mom was tested positive and my dad started showing symptoms, and that time we didn't really know what to do, so we called up various hospitals. Some of my friends knew a bit of people, so we called every hospital literally in town. Finding beds was a little difficult. We finally got through Hiranandani Powai, which claimed to have a couple of beds. So we in rush arranged a private ambulance. Arranging an ambulance was a nightmare. We couldn't get to an ambulance, so we arranged a private ambulance by the name of BSDIEU. They said that they'll need 12,000 rupees. So we said, all right, it's an emergency, we'll make it available. So they left towards Hiranandani Powai, and there the security guards didn't let them inside at all. They were not even allowed to go to the fever clinic. We waited for a long time outside for about almost 1.5 to 2 hours over there. We were waiting in the ambulance outside. I was at home, I couldn't go, obviously, because I have a grandmom at home and she was alone, so somebody needed to be there here. So then they waited for about 2 hours. After that, we got in touch with Masina Hospital, and they said there are beds available. After much cajoling and eventually with some links, we got about a bed over there. And then the ambulance doubled its rate. It said, since you've gone there, 12,000 rupees, and then coming back 12,000 rupees. So we eventually had to shell out about 24,000 only in ambulance fees. We literally called at least 10 hospitals. Now I don't remember all the names. Okay. What did they say? They said beds are not available. Beds were not available. Beds we literally, and when there was a slight chance of the bed available, we made that step and sent them there. Hiranandani Powai only was one hospital which seemed to have a bed, but when we reached there, apparently they said we are overbooked. That's what they said. And we were not even allowed to go inside the hospital to check. There was no way to understand how to go about anything. So yeah, that was a tough experience.
Now, that's as far as a citizen wanting to get his mother to the hospital is concerned, and ended up shelling 24,000 and wasting hours before he finally got some help. Here is another case study. We have enough evidence and more that I can go on for the next 2 hours about it to convince Mr. Tatkare. Let's listen in to what Amir Sheikh told us. Here is his ordeal.
मैम एक्चुअली लास्ट मंथ उनको डिटेक्ट किया गया था. एक्चुअली हॉस्पिटल सारे अलाउ नहीं कर रहे थे बिना कोविड-19 टेस्ट के रिपोर्ट के. वो लोग अलाउ नहीं कर रहे थे, तो मुझे जाके टेस्ट कराना पड़ा और उससे कोई भी सिम्टम्स ऐसा कुछ था नहीं. बट मेट्रोपोलिस में रिपोर्ट आने के बाद में उसने बताया कि वो पॉजिटिव है. सुबह में बीएमसी वाले घर पर आए एंड दे वर लाइक कि भाई शी इज़ प्रेग्नेंट, तो अभी हमारे पास फ़िलहाल फैसिलिटी अवेलेबल नहीं है इनकी डिलीवरी के लिए. बिकॉज जिस दिन उनका रिपोर्ट आया उसके 2-3 दिन बाद ही वो एक्सपेक्टेड थी उनका डेट पूरा होने वाला था. उसके बाद में बीएमसी वालों ने घर पे ही उन्हें छोड़कर चला गए. उन्होंने बोला कि हम लोग हॉस्पिटल्स के अरेंजमेंट कर रहे हैं, सिंस आपकी वाइफ प्रेग्नेंट है तो डिलीवरी के लिए हमारे पास अभी मैटरनिटी वार्ड या कुछ गायनेक डिपार्टमेंट ऐसा अवेलेबल नहीं है. तो हम लोग वो सारा दिन पूरा घर पर थे. उसके नेक्स्ट डे भी कुछ पॉसिबल चांसेस नहीं लग रहे थे मुझे, लेकिन ट्विटर पे आफ्टर ट्विटर पे मुझे कुछ पोस्ट करने के बाद में मैंने आदित्य ठाकरे और अमेय घोले, रेड बॉय फाउंडेशन, उनकी मदद से कुछ बेड के अवेलेबिलिटी उन लोग ने कराया नायर हॉस्पिटल में. फिर जाके मतलब नेक्स्ट डे आफ्टर ऑलमोस्ट 40 आवर्स ऑफ स्ट्रगल उसके बाद में मुझे एक बेड अवेलेबल मिला नायर हॉस्पिटल में. और नायर हॉस्पिटल में भी मिलने के बाद में वहाँ की जो कंडीशन थी मैम वो बहुत ज़्यादा पैथेटिक कंडीशन थी, क्योंकि एज़ पर लाइक ICMR और कोई भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हो, सिंस अ गर्ल इज़ प्रेग्नेंट उनको थोड़ी बहुत तो उनको फैसिलिटी मिलना चाहिए मैम, क्योंकि वो 2 जान से है तो उनको थोड़ी बहुत एक्स्ट्रा फैसिलिटी शी डिज़र्व्स एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. ये 40 आवर्स का स्ट्रगल मैम ऐसा था क्योंकि मैं कंटिन्यूसली BMC डिपार्टमेंट के कांटेक्ट में था. मैं कंटिन्यू उन्हें फ़ोन कर रहा था. उसके बाद में मैं प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल्स में भी कॉल किया, जैसे कि सैफी हॉस्पिटल है, 7 हिल हॉस्पिटल है और भी बहुत सारे हॉस्पिटल है जहाँ पर मैंने कॉल किया. कोई भी रेडी नहीं था पेशेंट को लेने के लिए और डिलीवरी करने के लिए. आफ्टर बहुत सारे मेहनत के बाद में एक हॉस्पिटल तैयार हुआ जो कि लीलावती, उन्होंने रेडी हुआ वो कि भाई हम करेंगे. उसके बाद में थोड़ी देर के बाद में फिर उनका कॉल बैक.
Another patient outside KEM hospital to a reporter who was on ground present there said, I have pneumonia, there is no place inside, there are a lot of patients, there are no beds, they have asked us to go out, I only go inside to get an injection. Another patient said, there is no place inside, they treat us next to the COVID-19 patients, so we are sitting outside to avoid COVID-19 patients, we only go inside to use the washrooms. Now these are the patients who spoke to us at KEM hospital. Let me get more details. Here is another story that came of Namdev Wagmare, complained of breathlessness when he was rushed to Mumbai's Cooper hospital. He had to wait for 12 hours, but his family could not get a bed. His family took him home, arranged for oxygen support. As the condition deteriorated, they went to Kokilaban hospital where they were told there is no isolation bed available since he had tested COVID positive. Then they ran around and called 20 other hospitals. Story after story after story, Mr. Tatkare, and you're telling us to check on the dashboard that's not even live yet as of 7 p.m. this evening. Mr. Tatkare, these are the instances I have counted to you, and you're telling us to go and check on the dashboard that wasn't even live as of 7 p.m. an hour ago.
Let me say what I have said again. Mr. Chahal was live on media yesterday. He made it clear that he has evolved a system where you call the BMC. He has identified nodal officers. The nodal officers will decide which bed which is available with the BMC will be allotted to whom? Patients are not expected to call ambulances directly. Patients are not expected to call hospitals directly. So if you don't want to follow the system and if you want to investigate your own story, then good luck to you. We are, as government, as corporation, we are working.
But the dashboard isn't live. You told us to use the dashboard.
I'm not saying that. The dashboard will be live. I'll get a feedback from the corporation, from the commissioner. This is what he said yesterday. So I am going by what the commissioner is saying because he is running the show in Mumbai, and let me tell you, he is doing a very good job out of it. Let us give some time to the system to respond. Now we are adding beds in Mumbai. You have seen we have added in BKC. We have added facility in Worli. There are facilities being added at Dahisar, at Mulund Cheknaka. So we are adding about 1,500 beds. We have acquired 80% beds of private hospitals, which amounts to about 3,000 beds. So those 3,000 beds are with the corporation. You can't walk into hospital and then you demand a bed. The corporation will decide. That is what I'm saying. We have put a system in place. Now it's up to you whether you want to follow the system or you want to go on your investigation trip.
Mr. Tatkare, don't take it as if Mirror now needs a bed. Understand that citizens of Mumbai do. Understand that people, regular people need to know this. If you're going to give us a new policy every 4 days and tell us this policy will go live, now listen to me, please, I heard you out. If you are going to give us a new policy every 4 days and then say this policy will be implemented in 4 more days, give us some time and then come up with another new policy, what are the people supposed to do? Helpline numbers? Okay, but the helpline numbers are not working. Dashboard? Okay, but the dashboard is not live right now. Additional beds? Okay, but the additional beds are not helping. The BMC told us they have changed the policy, which was a good decision, to say the mild cases should be at home. They don't need to be in hospital. That will free up the beds. All right, that hasn't helped. You are saying you're going to go and acquire 80% of the beds in private hospitals. All right, that still hasn't helped. Now I am just saying, 2 months into the lockdown, why are we still playing a catch-up game? We should be ahead of the curve by now. That's why we bought 2 months via a lockdown.
Tanvi, you have to respond to evolving situations. And BMC and state of Maharashtra is doing just that. Now, if some political party wants to play politics into it, and some channels wants to do that on behalf of those political parties, we can't help it. We are here to serve people of Mumbai. We are here to serve people of Maharashtra, and we are just doing that. Let me again tell you. We are following guidelines issued by ICMR. So if there are a change in testing protocols or any other protocols, then you should be asking central government and the health minister. You don't question Delhi. You don't raise questions. Now today we had a press conference where Jayant Patil said that
Mr.
not
Tatkare,
a
let me
single
save you your
ventilator
breath.
has been made available. Now let me complete.
This whole rhetoric of biased agenda doesn't work here, Mr. Sanjay Tatkare. I am sure you know that very well.
I know very well. I know Times Group.
Nobody is buying it, but go ahead, please.
So let me just clarify. Jayant Patil today, our state president and finance minister, he had a press conference today. He gave details of what is supposed to come from central government and what is not come. Even PPE kits, whatever they have promised, are not come. N95 masks has not come. Not a single ventilator has been given by central government. And the central government says that we will acquire everything for you. You are not supposed to acquire it directly from the market. Now, here we are. You are not going to question them because that story doesn't suit you.
Let me get in reactions from our other panelists. Thank you for patiently waiting by, but this story required a detailed conversation with the state representative, and I had to ask those questions to Mr. Tatkare. But Dr. Gautam Bhansali, you've been coming on our channel regularly. You've been involved in the process from day one. Tell me, Mr. Bhansali, Dr. Bhansali, that if the ICMR had projected 1.5 lakh cases for Mumbai by end of May, we've barely reached 1/3 of that. How could we be struggling? We should by now have been ready for 1.5 lakh cases.
Yeah, Tanvi, one thing I can tell you that whatever you have shown in your channel, that it was a definitely unfortunate thing. But what ICMR said that 1.5 lakh patients in the end of this month, I really doubt on that. Earlier there was some data from some different colleges and some different research institute. They were showing that 33,000 people will die by mid of April. That was not happened. So these are different kind of speculation. Second thing I would like to say that I requested Mr. Commissioner, Mr. Chahal, that generally in the evening time, like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, that time report comes. And with that, whole city will get panicky that they need bed. And all the system will get in disturbed. That time doctor get fatigue, hospital get fatigue, and this is a practical problem. I'm not blaming anybody, but that time there is nobody in mood to accept patient, although they are trying their level best to accept patient. But so I requested Mr. Chair that reporting time should be in the morning time. Either you increase your staff or tell the lab people that they should work in the night and early morning, like 8 o'clock report should come, so that all hospital healthcare worker doctors should be geared up and they should take the patient. Third thing, there was, yes, definitely scarcity of the bed was there. 4 or 5 days back only, all private hospital doctors, CEOs met with the Chief Minister Saab, Chief Secretary, and the Mr. Municipal Commissioner Chief Saab. And I am telling you, we have increased more than 500 ICU beds and more than 3,000 beds from private hospital sides. After that, beds have increased. That kind of problem, which is almost sorted out, not 100%, but almost sorted out. Now, the second thing is that in this system, we have created one more system that it should be a centralized system. Like we have given our live data, real-time data to that 1916 disaster management, that this time patient get discharged, one bed is vacant. One patient get admitted, one bed is blocked. So people should call. They should follow the system. They should call 1916 for ambulance. That is completely free. Earlier, yes, there was a shortage of ambulance. Hardly 70 ambulance was there. Now 450 ambulance are there. More or less, some are Innova Gadi, some are Sumo Gadi, some are like best buses. All patient doesn't need ventilator ambulance. Hardly 10% of patient need ventilator ambulance. Rest all only want that transport from their place to the hospital only. So in ambulances definitely has increased. Now 450 ambulances are available in the city. You will get ambulance within 10 minutes to maximum 30 minutes. Second thing, number of bed has increased, but there is definitely one system like 1916. You should call there. That person, there is a triage area in that 1916 disaster management. They will ask you whether you need oxygen, whether you need ward, whether you need critical like ventilator, something like that. Accordingly, they call the concerned nodal officer in the different hospital and they block their bed, and accordingly patient will get a bed in that hospital. For last 3-4 days, I am also seeing this thing. Patients are getting bed. Yes, there is some problem, but in near future, like in the next this week only or next week, we will increase, like private hospital will increase more than 700 to 800 ICU bed, not normal bed. I am saying ICU bed. More than that, we will increase the normal bed also. Plus NSCI Dome, NESCO, MMRDA, that ground is also ready, and they are making their 100 bed ICU bed capacity. Other than that, 1,000 bed normal bed. So, but that NESCO, NSCI, or other that plus MMRDA
Yes,
ground
but
will
this
take
is
10
what
to
was
15
there.
days for that. No, they are creating ICU bed.
So
Today
10 to 15 more days will take for that, Dr. Bansali. We were supposed to reach, and you will know it,
yes.
and the 1.5 lakh beds by end of this month. But that deadline
Yes,
itself
that
has
will
been
be
pushed
ready.
by the civic body, by BMC, to mid-June, which means that for the entire June we will be told to live in this kind of a lockdown again because our health infrastructure is not ready.
Infrastructure is going to get ready. Like today, we have a meeting with the private nursing home also, and they are also going to give us 100 ICU bed plus 2,000 oxygenated bed. So beds are increasing, systems are working, people are working. But again, we have to accept one thing: this is a new thing, new situation, new challenges, new disease. We have to face it, and we have to deal with it. You must have investigated that time when that there was a patient dying for the malaria.
Yes,
then
let
we
me
have
just
never investigated that. Yes. So that time, if you have investigated, our health infrastructure must
No,
have
I agree
better
with you.
than
There have
what
been
it
many
was.
diseases that have led to more deaths in our country. But if we've been told this is an unprecedented crisis, and if we've been in a state of lockdown for 2 whole months that has caused a massive economic impact also, then we should be able to at least justify that and say, look, this is what we've now prepared and used this time. Dr. Lakshman Jasani, in the evening, in response to the report that we had done, Mumbai mayor spoke to us, and according to the Mumbai mayor, it's the fault of the private hospitals because they are the ones who are not cooperating. They are the ones who don't want to open. They are the ones who don't want to give control to the BMC, and that's why we are looking at this situation.
First of all, let us all admit that Mumbai is overwhelmed with the COVID situation, and there are a lot many number of patients which are there which need admission. So I think there is what you have presented is a very scary picture. I do not know how far is it completely true, but it is true that patients are looking for beds, and there is some scarcity of beds which is available. The question is it there a true scarcity of beds, or are we seeing beds which are being reserved? So I think it would have been a good perspective if we could get one of the administration of these private hospitals to tell us when they say the beds are full, are the beds truly full, or are the beds being reserved because the BMC has told to reserve 80% of the beds? So if that is the case, then probably beds are there, and patient should go through proper channel through the helpline number 1916. And if that is not the case, and indeed the private hospitals are completely full, then probably we are looking at extreme shortage of beds. So what I would suggest is probably get into the administration of some of these private hospitals and get to know their opinion. But I do not agree with you that the private hospitals are not helping the BMC. I'm sure all the private hospitals are playing a very important role, and all of them are contributing in this fight against COVID-19.
No, so that's not what I am saying at all. That's actually the reason that was given to us by the Mumbai mayor, saying that this is why you're facing a problem. The Jayant Patil, the minister, actually to our investigation responded and saying, well, we are on it and we are adding more beds and we are bringing in additional beds, 10,000 and then 30,000. We are supposed to have 1.5 lakh beds by the end of this month. That's not going to happen. We'll have to wait perhaps till June 15th. Now that's the point, Aarti Sate. We are moving a little slowly on this.
Well, I've heard everybody on the debate so far, and it's been a longish debate, and I'm glad that you have brought to fore certain important issues where we are lacking insofar as this pandemic is concerned. Clearly, we as the opposition party in the state do not want to put spokes in the process of the government. And we know that this is an unprecedented time and everybody has to fight this together. So putting spokes is not what we as an opposition party have done right since day one. But at the same time, at the opposition party, and having a biggest chunk of seats really, we have to bring to notice to the government the anomalies which the government has created since day one. The anomalies which the government consistently created since day one was primarily no coordination between all the wings of the state government, meaning which BMC, the police authorities, the various hospitals. The 2 months lockdown, of course, has given enough space and enough time. I know it's an ever-evolving dynamic situation. You need to kind of, every day is a new day. I completely get that. But at the same time, the 2 months or almost 2.5 months was given to the governments, various governments, center, state, everybody, to be in a state of preparedness. Now, today, when we are talking about easing a lockdown, hopefully, at some stage, we cannot still say that we are adding up beds. And today, what you just showed on your channel, that people are running helter and skelter, pillar to post, is something which is happening. Today, if you're saying that the dashboard is still not ready, first of all, you'll change the BMC commissioner midway. You'll keep changing your policies. You don't make people aware of your policies. And that is the reason we as an opposition party had to step in after almost a month and a half to say, look, what are you guys doing? You'll need to get your act together. And we did not do this to politicize the issue. We did this because we think as an opposition party, as a party which is at the center, we have concrete suggestions to make. We want to work in tandem. we have given enough and more benefits to the state. The PPE kits, what Mr. Tatkare said, that the PPE kits and masks, and I heard the press conference of Mr. Patil. Thereafter, the opposition leader, Mr. Fadnavis, has given a point-by-point reply, and he has reiterated yesterday and even today that the PPE kits, which the central government assured that the state will get, have been given to the Maharashtra government. Maharashtra government has been given a lot of salt, but we have to see to it that today these 2.5 months which was given to the state should not be a situation where we are still preparing. Today, we cannot be constantly saying we are adding up, we are adding up. We should have added up much earlier. We should have definitely added up much earlier and not make people run pillar to post.
I will ask Mr. Tatkare to respond to that.
I'll request Swati Sathe to use her good offices with Modi ji and Fadnavis ji. A request been made by state government to provide ventilators which we have not received, which PPE kits, N95 which we haven't received, and most importantly the 18,000 crore rupees which is due to the state. They should release immediately. We are in situation in a war-like situation, and we need all resources. Now you can't be giving us gyan over your Mann Ki Baat and not giving what you have promised. That is not helping the state. And secondly, when she's saying that we don't want to politicize it, what was Narayan Rane doing and saying that there should be governor's rule in Maharashtra? Now its own leaders, if they are making such demands, and then Swati Sathe coming on your channel and saying that we are not going to make it a political issue, that doesn't help. You have to work together with the state government, with the corporation, and value add. Mr. Fadnavis was 5 years. He was the chief minister. He can be a value addition to the problems, to solve the problems. But he chooses to go to, instead of talking to deputy chief minister, he chooses to run each opportunity he gets to the governor's house, and I don't know what they talk and what memorandum they give. It is not helping the state.
May I come in? May I come in?
You have to work as a
No, I don't want this to become a political fight at all, please.
Exactly.
Aarti Sathe will get 30 seconds to respond to this. I don't want this to become a political fight. Then I'm going to go across to our expert doctors. Yes, Aarti Sathe, 30 seconds. But please, let's not make this political.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Tanvi, it should not be political debate at all. But one thing, Tanvi, I can tell you.
Let me respond.
Yeah, please. Let me finish. Let me.
1 minute. Let Aarti Sathe finish her point, please. 30 seconds to Aarti Sathe. Yes.
First and foremost, I think I set the tone by saying that we need not politicize a pandemic-like situation. Now, Mr. Tatkare consistently keeps coming back to the same issue as to Mr. Fadnavis did this, the Modi ji did this, Mann Ki Baat did this, X, Y, and Z. To Mr. Rane did this, to which I would just like to respond to say that Mr. Pawar also went, 1 minute, I did not interrupt you. Mr. Pawar, 1 minute. 1 minute. Mr. Tatkare, are you not in a habit to listen to people? If you're not in a habit to listen to people, you all will mess up the city more. Please. Listen to what the people have to say. This is not how you treat the opposition. You do not know why. Just now. That's exactly why the opposition has
to
step
Please, I don't want this fight on. Please, can Aarti Sathe just finish her point? Can I just hear Aarti Sathe finish her point? Mr. Tatkare, let her finish her point. Let's not yell over each other, please. Let's not. Yes.
Yes. So the point is, each and every political leader has gone and met the governor. Mr. Pawar also went and met the governor. Mr. Praful Patel also went and met the governor. Every political leader who is relevant in the state today and who has the state's interest at heart has met. So there is no question that Mr. Fadnavis went or Mr. X went or Mr. Y went. Every political leader who was relevant has gone. And the allegation again that the center has not released funds is an incorrect allegation. The GST refund also, or rather the GST portion also, which the state was to receive prior to November, has also been released. Yesterday, Mr. Fadnavis also said that insofar as the cotton crop is concerned, the state has given. insofar as the Vikalang and the backward class is concerned. The center has given various measures. The center has said, but if you keep doing this
I don't want to
blame
get into
game, we are
politics.
not going to be
Please,
able to.
no. I want to know what is the solution. I want to know what is the solution. I am not going to allow this to happen. Viewers, today we've made calls and found out a reality that the experts who are sitting on this panel say is very much possible. That yes, people in the city of Mumbai are still struggling to get beds. Yes, people in the city of Mumbai do have a tough task if they need an ambulance. This is the financial capital of the country. This is the city with the highest number of cases. This is a city which needs the best in class kind of an health infrastructure. There is no denying that fact. Dr. Bhansali wanted to make a point. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Tanvi, Tanvi, can I say one thing? See, situation is definitely like that, but now everybody is geared up. Private hospitals are geared up, policemen are geared up, all healthcare workers are geared up. But whatever you are showing in your channel, if situation was like that, then our death rate must have gone to 30-40%, which is hardly 3.2% in our city. So it means everybody is working very hard. And I can tell you one thing, we are chasing the virus and we will definitely win this battle. So please don't be panicky, don't be so fearful. Everybody is working very hard and I am sure we will win this battle.
Okay, but here is the point, Dr. Jisani. At this rate, in terms of the number of cases that we have, every day we are still reporting at least 1,000 cases in our city. What does it look like in terms of way forward? How much of beds, how many ventilators are required before the city can actually start about thinking about opening up?
Yeah, so let us try to look at the solution of the problem. The problem is that there are few number of beds, there are more number of patients which are present. And as you see, every day the number of cases keep on increasing. But you have to understand that the number of cases keep on increasing. How many of them are asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic patients? How many of them actually require hospital admission? How many of them require ICU admission? So if we can come to know the exact figure that how many of these cases which are turning to be positive actually requires admission, accordingly we can step up with the number of beds which are to be available. So there has to be one uniform policy. So I think the message should go out to all the patients that if you want a patient of COVID-19 to be admitted in hospital, and the way which the BMC has suggested to have a unified centralized system, then please call on this 1916, get to the nodal officer, ask them where is the patient, the bed is available, and accordingly coordinate with the hospital. But for that, we need a real-time data sheet. We need a real-time data knowing that which hospital, how many beds are available, which unfortunately at this point of time is still not ready. So what I suggest is that even though the number of cases are increasing, that is because we are doing more and more testing. Let us look at how many of these cases actually need admission. The good thing is that our number of deaths are far less compared to what is there in the Western world, which shows that the case fatality rate is much lesser, which is a good news. The only thing we have to find out is how many of these patients actually need admission, where are these beds available amongst the 3,000 beds which are totally available, which hospitals these beds are available, and if we are going to have a uniform centralized base of system, then it should be made aware to the common public, and the public should call the call center and direct it through that particular channel. That is what I feel.
All right.
So
here is my last question to Mr. Tatkare before we wrap this up. Mr. Tatkare, tonight, can I get an assurance from you that the agenda and the target of having 1.5 lakh beds, which is supposed to be by end of this month, but will probably take 2 more weeks, will be done by mid-June? Because, and here is what the problem is. If we don't build our infrastructure, Mr. Tatkare, if we are short on beds and ventilators, we will never open up this city.
Tanvi, first of all, what you are saying that 1.5 lakh bed, you listen to these doctors, they are the experts. Now the doctor is saying you don't need hospitalization for all cases. So what you need hospitalization is probably 40% cases. So we are talking about 60,000 beds, 60,000 patients who are going to need hospitalization, out of which there are patients who are already recovered and gone. So we have to look at the active number cases and not your positive cases. Positive cases, our recovery rate is close to 30%. So if you are talking about 30,000 cases in Mumbai, around 10 or 11,000 have already recovered and gone home. So what we are talking about is 60,000 beds, and probably already we have reached about 10 or 12,000 beds.
When
and
we are
will
in a state of
add.
lockdown.
Hello?
That's when we are in a state of lockdown. I'm sorry, that's being short-sighted, Mr. Tatkare. What happens when we open up tomorrow? Or are you going to keep us in a state of lockdown?
See, basically, people who are on top of the administration, they know what they're doing. They have complete data of what can happen. They have projections. You are saying it's 1.5 lakhs, but they might be having a different projections. We had a projection for Mumbai from ICMR
I'm
central
not
government saying that the cases
sir,
will be 4.5
you are highly
lakhs.
mistaken, Mr. Tatkare. This is not my demand. Mr. Tatkare, this is not my demand. This is what the civic body said. This is what the civic body had set itself as a target. This is what the civic body has told our reporter, that they will now take 2 more weeks because there are problems in acquiring land. So please, you are not informed about this, but that's not my problem, Mr. Tatkare. This is what the civic body is working towards. This is what they said is taking time because the land acquiring is taking time. The setting up of they are not able to find parking spaces and basement areas, Mr. Tatkare. Your response makes absolutely no sense. It's not about that we don't need it. I am not demanding 1.5 lakh beds. The civic body is going to give us. But they are moving very slowly on it because they have a problem in finding spaces. Now, I don't understand that problem considering that the same party runs the government and the civic body. Why should there be any problem? Fact of the matter is, viewers, it's been over 2 months of a lockdown. If we are still unclear about what the policy is about how people need to be getting beds in the city, it is a problem. If we are still unable to call and find out where the beds are available and the dashboard isn't accessible to the citizens, it is a problem. If people on a daily basis are waiting for beds to get admitted, to get treatment, it is a problem. If we are going to constantly play catch up with this disease instead of being ahead of the curve, we will never beat it. And we will always be in some kind of a restrictive scenario. Is this how we're going to live our lives for the next 1 year? That's what the civic body and the Maharashtra government have to get right. To be ahead of the curve, to have enough number of beds and ventilators and health infrastructure and proper implementation of the policy so that when the cases go up and when we open up, we will be able to handle it. Yes, the recovery rate is good. Yes, the mortality rate is very, very low when it comes to COVID right now. But we bought these 2 months to prepare our healthcare infrastructure, and that shouldn't mean that in 10 of the places where we called up, there were no beds available. Thank you so much for joining us on this conversation. Welcome back, viewers. Earlier in the show, we played out to you 4 different clips. Each time the hospital telling us no beds are available in the city of Mumbai. Here are 2 more examples, a private and a state-owned run hospital. Same answer every time we call up, we are told no beds available. Take a look.
मुझे ना एक कोविड पेशेंट के लिए आईसीयू बेड चाहिए था आपके
मैडम बेड्स फुल है मैडम बेड्स फुल है सारे अभी एक भी बेड्स अवेलेबल नहीं है
सर किसी और वार्ड में कोई जगह वगैरह है क्या
कहीं पे कुछ जगह नहीं है मैडम कहीं पे कुछ जगह
सर आप जनरल में एडमिशन ले लें और फिर आईसीयू में जगह हो तो वहाँ पे
मैडम एक बेड्स अवेलेबल नहीं है अब जनरल बोल रहे हो मेरे पास है ना 50-60 पेशेंट ऑलरेडी बुकिंग में उनको भी देने के लिए नहीं है अभी
सर ये कब तक वेटिंग चलेगी सर
कल तक कोशिश करेंगे हम लोग थोड़ा डिस्चार्जेस वगैरह निकले तो बता सकते हैं या तो आप बुकिंग करके रखिए हम फ़ोन कर देंगे आपको
सर एक कोरोना पेशेंट के लिए आईसीयू का बेड चाहिए था सायन में है क्या सर
नहीं मैडम फिलहाल तो नहीं
सर कब तक खाली हो जाएगा सर वेटिंग वगैरह
नहीं बोल सकते मैडम पहले ही वेटिंग पे है पेशेंट बहुत सारे
बट सर आजकल में कुछ गुंजाइश हो अगर
मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ मैडम ऐसा एक तो मतलब ऐसा बाहर से तो बेड बुक वगैरह तो होता ही नहीं लेकिन हमारे यहाँ पे पहले ही पेशेंट वेटिंग पे है
ठीक है सर